Hello, all. This is Ciara DeComey with True Leverage Coaching and Consulting. And we're going to move into step two. So, first off, I hope step one was amazing. I hope that it was mind opening, and I hope that you did really have the opportunity to create a deeper understanding of the inside out nature of life and where our experience actually comes from. So it's meant to be a noticing in step one. And if you haven't watched that video yet, definitely check it out. So the noticing is very simple and reflective and eye-opening, really. And when you have the opportunity to see that you don't have to get triggered by something, or that you can empower yourself to know that you have the ability to really lock into that peace within, that innate wisdom, that innate knowledge. It's amazing. It truly is amazing. So now step two is going to be a little bit different, because step one is really about tapping into and seeing and experiencing where your experience is coming from, that it is coming from the inside versus the outside. And step two, we start to notice and actually work with past belief systems that could be triggering us. So it's really fascinating when you go down this mindset path, what actually comes up. And I've been on this journey for really a long time. I started down this path. I started actually down a path of spiritual quest in my early 20s. Out of college, I was dating a guy who was 11 years older than me, and I fell head over heels in love with this guy. And we had such a great, amazing, fun relationship. And he ended up taking off to Europe, and it just, my gosh, it was like my world just completely fell apart. And it led me down this amazing exploration, and ended up being that once he came back, we tried to kind of put the pieces back together. It just didn't really make sense at that point. And I remember we were having dinner. He was over at my house. I was living with a friend, and we had made this great salmon dinner. I was enjoying dinner and some wine. It was awesome. And he said something about not believing in God. And I didn't have a huge background in religion, but to me, there was a God. I didn't really understand it. I wasn't, um, any specific religion, but it just blew my mind. Like, what is that? How could you not? What? Of course there's a God, right? And actually led me down the path of Buddhism. And it resonated with me. And I read books in high school about Buddhism that was fascinating to me. So I'm sharing all this because the mindset path is long and deep, and I'm still on it. And this was over 20 years ago. So it's just fascinating to me, how we evolve as humans. There's so much more to learn. And some of the things I want to share with you in these videos are really about trying to not streamline the process, but perhaps make the process a little bit easier for people. So that being said, some of the things I want to talk about today are really, I don't like using the word techniques, but the reality is we love our tools and techniques as humans. So it is what it is. And the reason why I don't like using it, because when we really do see that our experience is coming from the inside, and a lot of that is thought related. So where our thoughts are going, where our thoughts go, what we think about, um, can create that experience. For example, if you have a thought pass by, it's a cloud. I see it as a cloud. The cloud is passing by, it's a thought, and say it's a negative thought, and all of a sudden you grab a hold of that thought. All it was a thought, just like the clouds going by in the sky. It's just a cloud, right? It's when we grab a hold of that cloud, that thought, and wrangle it around and try to understand it. And then that thought has another thought, has another thought. And then we're thinking, then we're in the world of thinking. And that's where things can just go completely bonkers. So when we really understand that, when we get back out and be in that, there's no need for techniques. And again, we're humans, we love our techniques. So let's roll. So the thing I want to talk about today, there's so many different techniques. A lot of mindset people go down the path of inner child work or somatics. I've done a lot of work with somatics, which are very, very helpful. And somatics are really about being in touch with your body, and that's changed my life, definitely. So today, the technique I'd like to talk about is something called the revision technique. And this was created by Neville Goddard. If you're not familiar with him, definitely check him out. Look him up on YouTube. A mystic that I think he was born in 1905, if I recall. And so he spent a bulk of his life, I could be wrong on the year, so I apologize about that, but he spent a bulk of his life teaching people various different manifestation techniques, but really incredible work in that we actually are God. We are, and there's this disconnect that's been made through the years and through religions and whatnot that we're separate, and we actually are, and we can connect to that through creative imagination, he calls it. And there's a ton of people that do a lot of work around creative imagination and manifesting things in your life by really using the imagination to connect to the things that you want to create in your life. Now, the revision technique is a little bit different. So I'm not going to go super deep down the rabbit hole, but it's very simple. So I can explain it here and you can give it a whirl and see how you do with it. I find the revision technique to be extremely powerful. And for me, all of the techniques that are out there, this one seems so simple that I don't get lost in it. I don't fall asleep doing it. And it's really satisfying to me. So a simple way of doing it is before you go to bed, and Neville Goddard talks about this experience. A lot of gurus talk about the experience when you're going to bed, because you're getting into that theta state, and I think the next state is delta, if I recall. So you're getting into those sleep states where you can tap into the subconscious mind, and that's where hypnosis is done. I've done some hypnosis. I talk about this in some of my social media, how I healed my body through having some hypnosis technique. And so we can get into that subconscious mind and start shifting things around. And with the revision technique, so before you go to bed, you do an inventory of your day. How did your day go? And the things that didn't go well, now you don't want to focus on them, but you want to actually recreate your day and then continue to do that. So I'll give you an example. It's going to sound like it might be a little crazy, but I have a nonprofit, and we provide sanctuary to wild Mustangs, and we're bringing in another Mustang filly, young, gorgeous Palomino, who got injured in transport. And she got this gash, I mean, from here all the way down here. And this part was wide open. Now, I'm not a horse expert, even though I'm in the industry, I'm still learning a lot about horses. The cut was very, very clean. And being a wild Mustang, they're hard to catch, right? You can't throw a rope around them, or especially around the neck, that would not go well. So we ended up we got her, and then we sent her back, and we had a ton of support around getting the help she needed from a vet and the care that she needed. And we were absolutely so incredibly grateful for that. And what I ended up doing, going back to the revision technique, is I replayed the incident over and over and over and over, because how it went was she had a hectic journey getting from here to Utah, or I'm sorry, from Utah to Arizona. And then on her way here to us, across the Maricopa County, she got freaked out and jumped and cut her neck on the panel. So I redid the whole thing in my mind over and over and over and over and over again. I did it at night before I went to bed, and I did it with my other Mustang because they're super healing in my opinion. And so again, maybe this is just pure coincidences, although I don't believe in coincidence. This gaping hole, so I redid the incident, okay, and I saw her running around. I saw her happy. I saw her all the way from Utah to Queen Creek. She was eating food. She was happy. She was healthy. She came to us. She came out of the trailer. Her and my Mustang connected. It was like this whole fantasy amazingness. And I don't know. I just thought I'm going to play with it and see what happens. And so a few days later, I get a call from the woman who's taking care of her. And she's like, her wound is like unbelievably just better. And I thought, wow, I wonder if that has anything to do with it. I mean, it was gaping. It was, yeah. And I saw it a couple days ago, and it's completely closed on the inside, completely closed. This was like a handful of days, right? Not even a week. And the outside is just, well, I won't go into detail, but let's just say it's really, really close to being almost 100% healed. What? I don't know, but I am sold on the revision technique. Just having that experience, because it's in these processes you're connecting to your higher self. You're connecting to your source wisdom, to your radiance, to your version of higher self, to God, right? And relinquishing, you're recreating it in your mind and relinquishing any kind of potential attachment to it. I totally forgot about it. It was like no big deal until I got this text message and I thought, oh, wow. Then I've been doing it with my days. So I'll just go through my day at night, what went wrong, what could have gone better, and I'll just do this really simple scan of like, oh, okay, and I'll go through that several times, kind of on a loop, like recreating. And what I'm finding is that I just wake up with more energy. I wake up more excited. I wake up more connected to my purpose when I do this revision technique. So it's a mindset thing, and it's a tool, it's a technique, it's something you can give a whirl to that's actually really simple. And the point to do it before you go to bed is because you go off into those states, and then it's at night, of course, you're resting and repairing, your body's healing, all of these things happen. So I haven't tried it during the day, well, other than the thing with my horse, just because I believe they're magic animals. So so yeah, this is step 2. If you're feeling super spicy and you want to jump into this, you can even look up revision technique on YouTube. You might be able to find more details, but it's very simple. It doesn't need to be that complicated. The key is to find yourself creating the feeling that you want from the revision. So, for example, when I saw my horse running around, and she was all excited, and she was like so energetic and healthy, and it just gave me this overwhelming feeling of like love and appreciation. And she's okay. It's not she's going to be okay, because that would be putting in there that she's not okay. It was like, this is who she is. She's rock solid, healthy, all good. So you're creating it, really. You're putting it out there. Play with it. Play with it. And I would love to hear some comments on what happened, what came up, and any changes that you may have made in this process. What else do I want to say here? Yeah, this is step 2. So again, in my 90-day coaching program, this is one thing that we would be working on. I'm putting it out here on a video because I think it will be helpful for people. This one simple technique or tool. There are so many different ones that we have that we can access that are incredibly helpful, anywhere from writing things down to incantations to affirmations, and sometimes even just really through the conversation, these insights start popping when someone else is holding the space for you to go through and have your experience, and not be afraid of your feelings, and being with your feelings and feeling it in your body. The somatics, yeah, we have a lot of really fun stuff to do with somatics. Maybe I'll talk about that in step 3 as well. So thank you. I love you, and thanks for tuning in, and I will see you next time.